Aloha and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Got Your Six podcast. This six-question podcast brings together high performers to share their methods, strategies, and ideas, delivered in an informative and, most importantly, actionable way that'll help you lead yourself and those around you from the battlefield to the boardroom. Coming to you every episode, I'm your host, Tony Nash. And into the breach.
Nothing mentioned on this podcast is an endorsement or opinion of the Department of Defense.
I got your six, we got your back. Got your six, we got your back. Got your six, we got your back. I got your six.
Sixers, what an unbelievable treat we have today. Let's start with the motto of our guest. Be the change you want to see. When you say that, you actually have to live it day in and day out. And our guest today, Zach Bell, absolutely lives it without sometimes even saying a word out loud. You know him best as Veteran with a Sign, an absolute advocate of suicide prevention, veteran advocacy, just an absolute all-around stud. Zach, thank you so much for coming on the Got Your Six podcast, brother.
I'm honored and privileged, and from your lips to God's ears, I'll take it. So,
dude, what a treat! Like I said, and where I really want to start is not so much where you. Like how you kind of came into it, because we'll get to there, but where do you come up with what goes on the sign? Is it where are you pulling actually like inspiration from and everything, based off of pop culture? Where are we going?
where do I come up with everything? I have a running notes app on my phone. Is usually where it starts. And I will make content in batches because time is money, and it's the one thing we all don't have any more of. But I'm always trying to like if I go out, I'm gonna get like 10 to 12 pieces of content like over the course of an hour is like my goal. And so like I'll do observations of like military veteran culture, nostalgia, or sometimes pop culture if I feel like it's not too reaching. Too often to be involved in some form of a conversation. Brands, especially consumer brands, will do the not ALS challenge. What's the other one where everyone was frozen?
Challenge, or like it's National Taco Day and an ice cream company is promoting it or something like that.
Yeah, and how ALS is good. I'm talking about the where like everyone would freeze. Do you remember the thing and music would play?
The planking challenge.
Is planking, and it just feels like a little reachy. So like I try not to do that. But like something I did yesterday was Kanye, however he goes by it, I don't know. And whenever he does stuff, it trends for like a week. And I saw him like walking like the runway in his new fashion show. And it just reminded me of like the way I looked when I just got to like standard issue and I left and I had on like all the gear and you didn't know what you were doing. Or like, I was like, oh, I can like play this a bunch of ways. And so that was the template, was just him walking. And it was just like, the one I went with was like me walking around every single day wondering how people knew I was in the military. Cause like, he's like a big jacket with a bunch of pouches. Right. And like, he's very like, he's moving with intent. And so, and I just did a bunch of versions of that. So
I like how you said moving with intent, because that is pretty much what you're doing with content creation, and you're constantly implementing what you took from your time in the military to inspire others, let others know that there's a community of, hey, just because you're out of service doesn't mean you're away from the brother and sisterhood of being in service, which is extremely powerful.
Yeah, that's definitely what my plan was. I'm glad you highlighted that, so it's documented. No, I think, me in particular, my service, I had the only real word I can think of right now overall is not disdain, but whatever a step down for disdain is, because like, I was in a very kinetic time in the military from 2007 to 2011. The GWAT was hot and counterinsurgency was cool. And there was a big part of me that like wanted to look for stuff outside of that for a long time. Like basically, I wanted to try and not try. I wanted to prove that I could do stuff besides like hurt people. Is the best way I think to describe it, because that was what so much of what my service was. But as I've taken the step back to realize that is that like that's not the reality of what it was. It was just like, it's war. War is humanity's greatest failure, and like we have to go through that societally to like change the way we view things. But that perspective I gained from war is like what shifts like my thoughts on like global politics, stress, everything really. Like my understanding of the things that I have right now and my problems and the perspective that it's given me on like an international scale in particular has really been something that I'm truly grateful for. But for like so long, I was just like, dude, I got to do something else. I can't just be like crushing rocks every day. You know what I mean? So,
And just to give the Sixers an idea of how
mm-hmm,
kinetic it was, I mean, serving 4 years
mm-hmm,
as an infantry rifleman in the Marines in 1st
mm-hmm.
Battalion, 6th Regiment, if I remember correctly, but
Yeah,
also
six Marines. Yeah.
getting a battlefield promotion due to meritorious service. Like
Oh,
that.
really? You know that? It's interesting.
Hey,
I'm impressed.
I make sure we do our research on the Gotcha Six podcast, my man.
No, yeah, I got a meritoriously promoted. Um, it's funny, I was just talking about it today. But yeah, no, I mean, we were going out seeing the enemy every day, especially with my second tour. It wasn't contact patrols; it was combat patrols. So it was just
Yeah.
highly kinetic. We lost a lot of people, and I have a wife and two children, and there was no version of history where I wasn't doing that for like the next 20 years. And so initially, when I got out, I just kind of like threw it all away. Is the best way to describe it. And I'm not proud of it. It was just what I was doing with everything at the time. But it's that movie, the what is it, The Rookie,
Yeah.
where like Dennis Quaid's playing baseball and like his kids are like, Dad, what are you doing? And he's like, he throws the baseball and he throws it and it's like 56, but then it turns into a nine, like 96.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel like my call back to the community has been. Is just like it's something that I've kind of always remembered, but my muscles atrophied. And so
Yeah.
now I'm in a place where I'm like trying to better understand my service and help people better understand theirs, because like being in the military is the most selfless slash selfish thing you can ever do. It is entirely selfless, your dedication to a higher purpose, and especially protection of your country and trying to do the best things possible. But hard facts, it's really selfish as well, because everyone else behind you your family has to be supportive of that. And so like you have to acknowledge that. And that doesn't mean you can't work it out. Some people do, like you. But I mean, just the time, the moment, the job, it was time for me to leave. And, it's put from there, it was just, you're trying to understand what that meant to me as a person. That's my journey now. What does it mean? Right.
What was the tactical pause? What did that look like when you kind of decided, hey, this is the journey I'm currently on, to figure out what that service meant to me?
I'm going to fast forward through a bunch of stuff because we don't have time, and I don't really talk about myself that much, believe it or not. But
That's fair.
in 2016, I had graduated college with a master's degree and a bachelor's degree, and like all these
Lipscomb
goals.
University in Nashville, right?
Yeah, dude, I'm impressed. Yeah, no, this is incredible. I really appreciate some of those trade craft. I graduated from there. Yes, I did, and I remember like I felt like I like looked up and there were no more goals that were left. I had a job, I had everything, and I was just like, oh, I really haven't worked out how I feel about all that stuff that happened these years ago. Because just to get there, the first 3 years out of service, um, I would get up, go to school in the morning from 8 to 12. I would sleep in my car, and then I would go to work that night from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And then my day was done. And that was like the first 2 to 3 years
Wow.
post military service. And so when I got past that, all those hurdles, and I was just like, I'm out of like goals. And that was new. And I was like, everything was just like unachievable until like getting to a college, getting to Lipscomb, getting to graduate business school. Like I remember like when I applied to business school, I was like 50-50 on whether or not I would get in, but I was just like, it was a big shift in my mindset of like, yeah, why not? Like why not? So, um, in 2016, that was when I really started to like look at myself emotionally, my connection to the military community, and like how I had not really you put that stuff in the right place is probably the best way
Yeah,
to describe it.
absolutely. It was just kind of a box buried in the back of a closet that you just constantly move with. I never unpacked.
Yeah, no, I was just I had a rucksack of trauma, and
Yeah.
like, even when I got to Lipscomb, I wasn't working night shift at a hospital or doing all those things. I was still going to school, an adult degree program. So I'd work full time and then go to school, 2 to 3 days a week. And so,
That's insane.
um, yeah, dude, it was wild. Like people were like, oh, well, it's so crazy that you got here. I'm like, dude, there's nothing that was given. It was not taken. It was all earned.
Yeah.
And ultimately, if there's anything I could ever give my children, I want to be like, I want to give them like this idea of like, why not me? But coming from a place of love, like my why not me was like near contemptuous of like, yeah, I can do it, Um,
Yeah.
but that's, I grew up in a very different place than they live. So,
Right. And then also that lesson, right, of not
mhm.
self-selecting, putting yourself
Yeah,
out there for whatever opportunities.
yeah,
Um, but being able to do that when you're at the top of a mountain and you're like, this is all I've wanted for the last 2 to 3 years. And then
for
you
like
look
four
around.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
4 years. And then you
yeah.
look around and you're like, all right, with all these things that I have now, like what mountain? Because then you look up and you just see a mountain range as opposed to the
Bro, I
one
had no
mountain you were climbing.
mountains. I
You
had
had no
no
mountains,
mountains.
no,
I
nothing. It
remember
was flat land.
we dude, we had saved up to go to Disney World with my daughters, and we were at Disney, and I got the call like I was going into grad school, and I was like, yeah, but like I had just graduated, then we're in Disney and stuff, and like I just had no mountains, and then a year and a half later, I graduated graduate school, and I was just like, okay, I've really got to figure out some stuff, and that stuff was like focusing on how I felt, what stuff taught me, and then like ways to work through it, right? Because especially then and even now, like there is no transition period. I'll be 35 this year, and I feel like I'm just now getting through a lot of that stuff. Um, but I took 2 weeks off, and then I was working. Like I didn't have time to like do a walkabout or like hit the Appalachian Trail. I've got friends that have done it,
Yeah.
and good for them. I envy them, but like most people have to like get out there and earn, and so that's what I did.
So then, as you look now, 5 years down this new journey, right? As you've started to have
Mm-hmm.
different mountains that you've climbed along the way,
Uh huh.
what skill are you working on now, or ability to better understand your service currently today?
I mean, I heard someone say, I'm trying to remember who it is, but someone once said, not once said, I heard it. John Bernthal, the actor, he has a podcast. It's really, really good. He said, pain is an adhesive, bro. If you've got it, you can connect to people. And I heard him say
Whoa,
that. And I was just like,
wow,
well, he's talking to Shia LaBeouf about like all the stuff that happened to him. And I don't want to go into that, blah, blah, blah. But just, two guys talking and then John saying that thing, like that stuck with me. And so like I used to view all the things that have happened as like so negative and just burdensome, but now they're just there's blessings of growth and understanding it. So like I'm trying to use the things I've been through to help move my community forward, to be more honest with conversations I'm having with them, with myself, with my family, you know, um, and doing things like that. Like because so much of my life, especially postgraduate school, was like, all right, we got to go to like this meetup, you got to go to like this event or do this thing. And I was doing like all these things that are like the steps professionally you have to take, but like I don't know. My goal for so long was to get the best job with the most money forever, for the best quality of life for my family. That
yeah.
was my goal. I hate what I'm doing with my hands. I hope you delete it all. But
It's an
um,
audio platform. We use video just for content, so we'll
no,
edit that
no,
all
it's
out.
it's good. No, it's fine. but my goal was like, get this thing, get that thing, right? And especially in business school. Business school is a hustle. Like you're just like, hey man, I got a boy up at Deloitte, or I got someone at Morgan Stanley, and I'm just like, cool, can't wait. And Nashville's big on healthcare, or like, hey, I know a dude at Amazon. We can do these things. And you do some time here, you meet someone there, you put 2 years in this company, and you hop back and forth. And I was doing a lot of stuff, and then the pandemic hit, and I was stuck at home, and it was the most time I'd ever spent with my family ever, like consecutively, 90 days straight.
Yeah.
The first 30 days, we made a fort downstairs, and like that was pretty cool. And
That's dope.
and then I started looking at everything, and that was when the dumb idea of Veteran with the Sign came up of like, why don't I make a creative writing project about how to communicate with people digitally on an analog platform to try and make myself laugh, honestly, to try and I don't know, to try and
I love that.
add some humor to the military community
Yeah.
without being like toxic and narcissistic and all these things.
Right.
And that was like what I had in my mind. And I just didn't keep going. But like during that time, that was when I made that shift from like, I don't want to focus on the job or the money or the stuff. What's my goal? My goal, I want to spend as much time with my wife and my kids as possible. And when I like re-zeroed and recentered and refocused everything,
Right.
so many things came available, like my connection to them, um, my emotions, my profession, my opportunities, like all stuff started like opening up in a way that I didn't anticipate. Being like, all right, man, yeah, this works, this works big time.
And that is so powerful to be able to realize you're chasing a false flag, right? Because someone's always going to
Yes.
have more money. Someone's going to have a better job, faster car, bigger house, whatever the next, that thing is.
Mm-hmm.
But time with the family, like you said, it's our most like absolute precious currency that we have. And taking it from a transactional, like I need this to get that, to just aligning to make sure you are filling yourself and the people around you
Yeah.
with the most amount of like intent, effort, and energy,
Mm-hmm.
completely changed your life.
Yeah, no, I mean, it literally did. Like, I used to be, you do things in your mind. I was like, they'll be okay if I'm late. I'm doing stuff to provide for them, or I got to do this extra hour, this extra project. But like, at least the way I was interacting with corporate culture,
Yeah.
was not healthy. Also, this is like pre 2020. Um, a lot of companies and a lot of people have just realized that like, you don't need a building to do work. You also like our relationships to corporations aren't really that good overall, like big wide swaths. That's why they need people who have good leadership and good management more than ever. But just for me, like there was just so much hustle because like I found myself in this peer group, and this peer group was like, "Hey man, we're at this company for this amount of time. We got to move here in like 2 years," and then like your job is secondary. Like
Right.
it's that next opportunity, that next thing
Just chasing the
that's
hustle.
like,
Yeah.
dude, and like, I mean, they're all still doing it. They're all very successful. Like all my, graduate friends I know and stuff, but like, it's kind of like, I look at them like on the interstate, and I took an exit to like an old highway, and I'm just enjoying the ride, man. They're trying to get
That's
to a
beautiful.
destination. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying the ride. That's all I can think of. And I hope we all get to the same place. But like, and I have that same thought of like I had in 2016. Like, what happens if I get there and I don't have any more goals, or like maybe the ride's the thing, and that's just been my passion lately. Is
Right.
the ride is the thing, and spend time with the kids, spend time with my wife. Be there. Go to cheer competitions, go to their games. Like, I mean, it's to a point to where like I'm flying out. I'll say this: I'm going to go to Battle Bunker with my friend Austin Alexander, who's setting up. Everyone needs to check it out. It'll be on live October 29th. I'll be there being stupid, but I'm flying out early. I'm flying out late just to come back in time to be here on a Sunday for a cheer competition. That's not like a dad thing or brag or whatever, but like
Yeah.
that's how focused I am on that.
How long is the
And
cheer
like it seems to
competition?
be
Like
working.
when she competes, how long is it? Just like that routine.
Um,
How long is it?
like 2.5 to 3 minutes, roughly, um, which
I
is a
have
lot
chill.
because
I have chills right now because
I'm holding the camera like this for 3 minutes,
yeah,
and like you have to be still, but you also have to like look, but you can't look down the barrel because it won't
yeah.
work. But
That's why you
yeah,
got
on
boulders for
average,
shoulders.
yeah. Well, the trick is to get like a tripod or something so
There
you
you go.
can don't have to worry about moving because like if you look, you know your hands will follow your eyes, whatever that's
Yeah.
called. So like you have to like literally like it's like doing room clearing. You have to look over the sights to make sure you're centered.
Dude,
And you do have boulders for
application.
shoulders, but
They I bring
yeah.
that up because 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes,
Mhm.
2:30, 3 minutes, right? 180 seconds
But each day there's hours
is worth
competitions.
that
It's like a
time.
two
And
day
that's so
thing.
powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's one's in high school, one's in middle school. Nobody cares about what I do. Like nobody ever looks at their friends and be like, my dad's not here. He's important. He's working. Like nobody cares. Nobody cares. None
Yeah.
of that has value. What is most valuable for me is helping to make sure I stop burying all of my friends. And this is not in the order of importance. That my wife knows how much I care about her, and my children do too, and I prepare them as young ladies to go out in the world and tear it in half if they want to, and just give them the confidence and the strength to know that they can terraform the world if they wanted to, because Lord knows their dad did. Just a redneck from West Tennessee who is, one point was like, I think I can write in the New York Times. I submitted stuff, and a friend of mine put me up, and I did. Like all that to say is that there's a difference between dreams and goals. Dreams are things you don't think you'll ever do. Goals are things you want to accomplish, and that's what I want to put in your head. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I am
like,
just listening right now because like I'm about to cry. That is
well, good.
absolutely
I don't know.
powerful. No, it is,
Well,
man.
that's why I
Like,
want to
go ahead.
go ahead. No,
No, you are on a roll. I'm not going to stop you.
well, no. It's just like so much of things that we do. Like, I have people be like, "How do you start this? How do you do that?" Man, I have nothing. I have no advice other than do it, right? Because like after military service, I look at the common theme in my life. I'm at my belt. I'm at my best when I'm at the service of others, and you find the best version of yourself when you do that, right? And so I've lost more people after war than I did to it. The VA sucks. Blah blah blah. None of that stuff matters. What am I doing to help? I want to be the change I want to see, and that's where it all comes back around, right? Like I'm not saying that we can do it all on our own, but what I'm saying is if we all start talking more about solutions instead of just like raising awareness for the problem. Like people know what the problem is. We got to talk about solutions. It's not a one size fits all. There's the pyramid of overall health: mental, spiritual, physical. If you don't got one, the whole thing collapses. So you got to attack it on all sides. And what's that main theme for you? My main theme is the time I get to spend with them. Because very soon they'll both be out of the house, and then I'll sell this thing and like I want to buy a boat, travel the world or something. I don't know. None of it matters. But until then, my only goal in life is making sure that they know they're the most important thing I've ever been a part of, and that I love them. And my other job is helping my community, and I'm by no means an example. I've messed up a lot. I'll mess up again. I'll mess up tomorrow. I'll always mess up, but I'm gonna go out swinging, And if I can be a little more transparent and authentic about like my journey and stuff, then maybe someone else will be brave enough to say when they need help. And that's ultimately what I like to try and do. It's like make fun of myself, humanize our culture, and be like, hey, I'm making fun of us because like we take ourselves too seriously, and we should be like, hey, I love you,
Yeah.
get some help, things like that.
And we absolutely love what you're doing, Zach. We're going to close out with a final question. You've already touched on this a ton,
Mm-hmm.
right? As you live, be the change you want to see. But
Uh-huh.
today, Zach Bell, how are you better than yesterday?
I did legs today and I didn't want to, and I
There
had
we
a
go.
whole event. Yeah. No, today how am I better today than yesterday? Um, I would say that I'm more aware than I've ever been of like my the way I interact with the world. Um, I would say that's probably the best way to say it. It's like I'm not dull or ignorant of my environment, or not ignorant, just unacknowledging of
Yeah.
the world that I'm living in, and I'm trying to be like, I know I can't change a lot, but dude, I can try, and like the signs and stuff, they all have that kind of let's just try. Like, somebody, I think I put up, I hope you care about Iran longer than you did Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Like, that's true. Like, I want people to talk about that. I mean, that's a reality for most people all over the world. We should never forget that, because if we don't forget it, maybe we can actually change it instead of just being culturally relevant for a moment. We can try. I can try. You can try. That's what I would like to think.
And we're going to continue to try together. Zach, where can people
Mm-hmm.
go to connect with you, learn more about what you're doing with Veteran with a Sign, everything else that's ongoing in the community you're
Okay.
building?
Okay. You can find me on Facebook at Veteran with a Sign, Instagram, Veteran with a Sign. I have a Twitter. That's Zachary Ebell. That's me talking trash about sports. And every now and then I'll do other things, but that's basically it. And yeah, don't do anything with me. Just make sure you're listening more to Tony. That's what you need to be doing.
My man. Zach, we can't thank you enough for sharing your ideas, your strategies, your tactics, and most importantly, thank you for having our sixth brother. Really appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, honor and privilege. Thank you so much.
I don't know what you've been told, Sixers, but the lawyers would like us to remind you that the views, opinions, and comments expressed on the Got Your Six podcast are solely those of the hosts or guests, to include current and previous Department of Defense employees, and should in no way be considered the opinions of or endorsements on behalf of the Department of Defense or any of its components, divisions, contractors, or other current and previous staff members.